Welcome back, everyone. It's your boy DBGTX-YT, and I'm back with the latest episode of this epic retelling of Dragon Ball GT. Like an index, I like to begin my video with stating that I appreciate the continued support on the project. As of now, episode 1 is over 60 views, while episode 2 and 3 are surely coming up. Thank y'all for sharing your energy and continuing to march forward with me on this grand tour. Since most of our favorite characters in the Dragon Ball world are living normal lives, by normal circumstances they keep their power levels ultra suppressed in order to not break things like simple cups and such. This generally means that if the characters are not really looking for a specific character, i.e. locking onto their ki or energy, then generally they don't really know who's where in the world. This is obviously Dragon Ball lore. But if y'all ever question why Tien is usually so hard to find with such high power level, it's usually due to this factor. Also, most characters in this story haven't broken away from their original source material, characteristics, and persona, and some I've changed slightly a bit, to which some viewers have pointed out that it's been good changes. So I'm very glad that the story is enjoyable and engaging. Thank you for that. Now, please make sure to continue sharing your energy with me as we launch into the 4th episode of Dragon Ball GT Retale. And without further ado, the recap. After a mistaken case of identity in West City set off a little quarrel between Pan and Goku, the thieves were quickly arrested and order was restored at West City Bank. Meanwhile, Trunks and Gohan began brainstorming ideas for the materials that will be needed in order to build the ship necessary to endure such a perilous adventure. Needless to say, there are elements that will surely make things tough for our heroes coming up. With the timer ticking and things going into full swings, we now turn the manga to chapter 4 of this epic retale. A Dance of Egos, Pan's Dilemma. We are now back in West City at Trunks' headquarters. Gohan has made his way to West City after wrapping up the meeting with Trunks. Meanwhile, Goku and Pan headed to Hercule's mansion in order to see her other grandpa, which was the original intent of her visit to West City. So, you're trying out Bulma's new invention, and it shrunk you to a kid? States a very observant Pan while she eats a delicious plate of the finest marbled dino meat in the world. More please, states Goku excitedly as the waiters fill in by the dozens to quell the little Saiyan's never-ending hunger. Here we have a small flashback to Goku's home as Goku made his way back to West City. Gohan rushed to catch up to him to explain one key thing. Dad, I really think we should avoid telling Pan about this. Let's just say lately her Saiyan genes have really kicked in. And well, this can only entice her to want to go on this journey, which we have a legitimate understanding that this is not something she's ready for. Explains Gohan very carefully so Goku understands the full scope of things. Oh really? Well, if you say so. What do we tell her if she asks then? With a confused look on his face, states Goku. And with that, they came up with the idea that Bulma used the new invention that experiments on rotten fruits to de-age them and make them ripe once more. The beam accidentally hit and shrunk Goku's body, and the effects will last a little while. Now, back to the present. So yeah, I'll be like this for a bit, but it's okay, cause look. And Goku begins standing on his tail. I got my tail back! Pan immediately zooms across the table and inspects it. I really thought it was part of that getup from those robbers. As she begins feeling on the tail, making sure it's real. Now, we still haven't touched on the owner of the house yet, have we? Mr. Satan has actually been sitting in his own respective chair across the table, absorbing everything, pretty much as Google-eyed as everyone else who stumbled upon Goku today. So, Goku-san, may I get a moment to talk with you in private?
Yeah, sure. Oh. Please, let go of my tail. I forgot that I forgot.
Says an almost unconscious Goku, and Pan immediately lets go.
Grandpa! Grandpa! I'm so sorry, Grandpa. I didn't mean to.
She screams, thinking she's actually hurt him. Goku immediately props himself back up.
Yeah. I totally forgot how much it hurts when someone grabs my tail. Phew!
Exclaims Goku, letting out a sigh. At this point, he follows Mr. Satan to his office, and in the moment that the door closes, Satan states, "Now, I don't know how much of that story you told our granddaughter in there is correct, but I can definitely tell when you're making up a story, Goku-san."
Yep, you caught me. Gohan told me to keep it a secret from her, cause it may cause some unwanted problems.
As he has to stand on the chair in order to be over the desk's height. As Goku is explaining to Hercule the what now, we have an unsuspected listener in the midst.
He lied to me? How could he? You mean to tell me that there's a grand trip and I have to sit out? No way!
Says a fuming Pan as she hit her power level and climbed through the vents of the mansion to get a listen to what's being discussed behind those closed doors. A few minutes later, they wrap up their talk, and as they get back to the diner, Pan is waiting with a teacup in her hands.
Well, that took you old farts long enough.
With a smile from ear to ear, she says.
Yeah. Mr. Satan wants to throw a surprise party for Boo.
Says Goku into her ear, unsuspecting that Pan already knows the truth.
Is that so?
States Pan as she sips her tea.
Well, we should get going to Capsule Corp then, shouldn't we? Since Bulma's working on that experiment, maybe she's come up with something for you.
She states, observing Goku's body language.
Actually, your dad asked me if I were to meet up with you to instruct you to go home. Immediately. Something about you forgetting to do your chores. Yeah, that's it.
Expressed Goku with a matter-of-fact look.
My chores. Not homework. Not my training. Chores.
As she looks on and states that, Pan's hand begins shaking slightly. Ever the lightest.
Sure did. Said to specifically state no allowance for a month if you do not do as he asks.
Now, this was a plan made by Satan in order to impede Pan from heading to Capsule Corp. Unfortunately, the little girl knew what was up and played along.
Fine. I'll go home immediately. After I get my gi from Capsule Corp.
And Pan puts the teacup down, gets up, and as she begins to walk out the room, Satan slides in front of her. Maybe you should listen to your grandpas and go home, Pan-chan. Please, pretty please. You don't want to be in trouble with your dad now. As he slides her 20,000 seni out of sight of Goku. Here, take this. Just between us, okay? Now get on, get home. As he winks at her and she smiles.
Okay, Grandpa. I'll go home and I'll do as you ask.
As she opens up the living room window, begins to float outside, and says her goodbyes.
They really think I'm stupid. Just you wait, Dad. I got a bone to pick with you.
and she flies off in Goku's house direction, hoping that Gohan is there. Elsewhere, on a red forested planet, we have the trio of danger, the Para brothers, who have finally found what they've followed across the entire west quadrant of the universe. Two figures loom over the hill's outskirt of a burning village. The citizens eradicated, mercilessly slaughtered by the Para brothers. Some were still alive, if that's what you wish to call them, of course. They have danced on the same spot for over 48 hours. Blood oozing from their calluses, dehydration and hunger setting in. But their bodies will not stop moving to the rhythm that plays over the loudspeaker of the Savage Brothers' vests. Oh, such fire in their dance! Boom! I love it when the climax is this hot. Look at him, sir, Para. Falling apart on a simple dance routine. Expresses Sanpada with a look so evil only Devilman can love. A few seconds later, Don Para appears from the surrounding forest onto the cliffside dawn. I found it, Bon Para, sir. But what is it? I have no clue whatsoever, says Don Para as he hands over the 4-star Dark Star Dragon Ball. Oh, it's magnificent. It's gorgeous. It's powerful, drabbles Bon Para as he marvels at the newfound Dragon Ball. Something in the archives must have information on what this is. And as he's finishing his sentence, massive wings overshadow him and his crew. I will tell you, but you must take me to the one named Son Goku. He must die by my fire. Bon Para begins to sweat profusely from his back, his vest beginning to sear and catch flames. He manages to stammer out, May I ask who our thou hot fine sir is? And as the shadow vanishes, as instantly as it showed, a voice states, The harbinger and the fiery bringer of Son Goku's death. That which you have in your hand is the Dragon Ball. Collect them, and you will have anything you desire. And with that, the Para brothers are enlightened by the shadow being, making the interest for the balls grow even further beyond. This is what we've been looking for. Boom! We will be galactic rulers! And the name of Bon Para will forever be exclaimed through the Milky Way. Bon, 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 my fine men. We must find a way to collect the rest of these balls and end this Son Goku. This is our destiny, our dance, our new rhythm. Ow! And he presses the play button on his chest. Music begins blaring, and the once flop bodies of the only remaining survivors of the village began to dance once more on their sullied bodies as the village and the rest of them get consumed in a massive blaze. Rulers! Born! Now we flip the chapter back to our heroes. 9 hours have passed since the beginning of this grand tour, and Goku finally arrives at Capsule Corp. Yoo-hoo! Hello! States Goku as he jumps off his Nimbus cloud. He walks through the main entrance, and the secretary immediately recognizes the hairdo. Master Goten, lovely to see you this evening. Albeit a little shorter than 2 days ago, says the secretary. Goku immediately responds,
Close, it's me, Goku. Can you point me to Bulma's lab?
Sure. That way, sir. And knowing that all sorts of crazy things happen at Capsule Corp, the secretary simply doesn't ask any questions and instructs Goku toward the G-Wing hangar. Goku runs off in that direction, but abruptly stops to think.
Wait a minute. This would be the perfect time for some training with Vegeta to see where are the current extents of my powers.
And so he begins to sense out Vegeta, who ironically enough was with Bulma, and it seemed there were more people in the vicinity. Feels like Trunks, Gohan, and some scientists.
Oh, nice! They're all in the same location! Even better!
And he runs towards the hangar. Upon arriving at the hangar, he is greeted by everyone.
Gosh! It's been so long since I've had to look down on you! It's so reminiscent of our good old glory days, huh? That's right. Back then I didn't realize how much taller I grew, and now being so short again.
It's not the only thing that's gotten shorter around here, Kakarot, states Vegeta from a corner. Your power level is atrocious. Even I can safely assert that my son could defeat you at this current state. As he now gets up and realizing the major difference in their own height as well.
I guess this is how you must have felt when we first met, huh, Vegeta?
Snickers Goku with a grin from chin to chin, knowing Vegeta will get the height difference joke. Haha, very funny, Kakarot, and it seems our power level currently are just the same as they were back then. Me being the stronger one, of course. And that tail, why haven't you cut it off? Asked Vegeta curiously.
Well, I never really wanted to lose my tail to begin with, you see. But Kami decided that it wouldn't be a good idea to have it when I trained at the lookout. So at one point, it just never grew back,
states Goku as he wiggles his tail around. I see. And have you seen any benefits to it power-wise? Again, says Vegeta with a curious look.
Not really. Haven't had a chance to test my full strength in this body yet.
And with those words rolling out, both Saiyans make eye contact and smirk. If you was looking for a beating, you should have asked for it sooner, says Vegeta, ripping off his casual shirt to reveal a now red tank top versus his usual and iconic blue. With a huge grin on his face, Goku follows Vegeta and states,
Don't gotta tell me twice. I'm itching for a fight.
And as they both start snickering, Goku tosses his power pole on the ground.
Just in time to test my new invention. It's called the Fight Dome XL. To put it simple to you lame brutes, you're constantly destroying Capsule Corp every time you guys duke it out. So this room takes all the damage and doesn't allow it to escape from the outside. Actually, I implemented this about 2 years ago, thanks to a certain someone. Now I can actually sleep better, she states as she's looking at Vegeta. Vegeta immediately turns as red as his shirt in embarrassment. I am not that loud! Oh really? States Bulma, giving him the look. Vegeta, visibly upset, crosses his arms, lets out a sigh, and walks into an open area with a similar mechanism on the floor as to Babbidi's ship. Well, this takes us back, doesn't it, Vegeta?
Oh yes, I remember. When you chose to hide your real power level from me. It's different now, Kakarot. You see, when you had your own limit-breaking transformation, I have also obtained one of my own. I don't require your Super Saiyan 3 and this bloated energy consumption, says Vegeta as he takes a deep breath. Bulma, get the room ready. And immediately, Bulma presses the button, which makes the room whirl in a starry span, and we are no longer at Capsule Corp, but on a giant asteroid rock, which seems to be circling the Earth's atmosphere.
Whoa! That was awesome! Are you ready, Vegeta?
Says Goku looking around with a smile facing Vegeta. Must I remind you who you are speaking to, Kakarot? I am the Saiyan Prince, and I've always been ready. With a huge grin on his face, Vegeta gets into his iconic fighting pose. So does Goku. And with that, a timer begins to count down. Bulma's voice comes on through an intercom, and she yells out, "Let's rumble, boys!" And the second the marker hits 0, they both jump at each other. The fight between Goku and Vegeta begins in the next episode of Dragon Ball GT, and you don't want to miss this. What will be the limits of Goku's strength? And what is this new power Vegeta claims he's obtained that rivals Super Saiyan 3? Find out next time on Dragon Ball GT Retale.